up, everybody? It's your girl Mika, and you're watching the Red Cup Podcast, where truth, pop culture, and politics meet. What's up, everybody? It's your girl Mika, and we're back for another Red Cup Talks because this is where truth, pop culture, and politics meet. And today is Wednesday, and I want to thank everybody in the chat for pulling up. I want to thank everybody who will be watching on the replay. I want to replay. I want to thank everybody who always pulls up, and thank everybody who supports the platform, whether videos, live streams, shorts, Instagram, all of that, X. I'm actually gaining a bit of a following on X. So thank you, because I do not post that much on X. So thank you to all the people that follow me on X. Thank you, everybody that's pulling up. We're going to do a quick roll call. Let me get into it. Your card, the Virginia CEO, what's going on? What's up, Gerald? What's up, Got Flavor? What's up, Loud and Clear? Oh, y'all already got in. Oh, man. Yeah, I see you. I see you. Yeah, Russell Brand. Yeah. We know. What's going on, T Brew? What's going on, Alicia? What's going on, everybody? I see you guys in here. Yeah, we're going to talk about a couple of things today, okay? Now, I want to get into Candace, of course, okay? Because Candace and Erika Kirk are sending me. All right. And when I say they're sending me, I'm saying this is what I'm saying, okay? Because my mother told me never, speak to people way above, okay? I speak plain English. When I say Erika Kirk and Candace Owens are both on my last nerve, they're both on my last nerve, all right? Because if you're going to stand on the square of conspiracy and this and that and the third, go ahead and stand on it. If you're going to stand on the fact that you're going to go with the official story, stand on it. But I'm telling you right now, I don't believe none of them. Okay. I don't believe none of them. And that's just my clear message before we get into it. Okay. I don't believe any of them. And yeah, they can say what they want until I actually see something. I don't believe any of it, but we're going to get into it. All right. Let's go ahead and, we're going to get into, Fani. Okay. Gorilla Grip is black. Fani. So we're going to get into Fani. We're going to get into, oh my gosh, who else we got here? Susie Wiles. Yes, we're going to get into Susie Wiles and Vanity Fair. It's just a lot going on. Oh man, y'all are wild. Y'all are wild. What's going on, Sugar Shane? What's going on, Agency? What's going on, 48 Right? What's going on, Ashy Knuckles? Echo DJ, what's going on? All right, you guys, let's go ahead and get started because we got a lot of people to get into. All right, and I just want to do some quick shots, really quick. All right. What's going on, Kay Holiday, Chavis? Welcome. Thank you guys for pulling up. Let's go ahead and get started. All right. So I want to go ahead and get started with this whole NICKI versus DL Hughley. It might as well be Nicki Minaj versus everybody, okay? Because at this point, everybody is coming for Nicki Minaj. See, when you're a liberal and when you promote degeneracy, nobody bats an eye. Nobody bats an eye. Nobody says anything. But as soon as you start, promoting conservatism or, just actually standing up for what's right, they're coming for you. As soon as you get with, the people with the red hats, all right, or as soon as you get with the white man that's on the wrong side, okay, meaning he has an R by his name, you're going to get hate, all right? And you're going to get hate from the peanut gallery, the dumbasses like DL Hughley, okay? So let's go ahead and get into it. Yeah, I despise him as well, okay? I despise him as well. What's going on, Dave? I'm going to read that super chat shortly. What's going on, man? I appreciate you. Thank you. Let's go ahead and get into DL Hughley. Okay, so DL Hughley says, and I know you guys may or may not can see that close, but DL Hughley says Nicki Minaj shouldn't post anything about kids because her husband can't be within 1,000 feet of one. It ain't Gavin Newsom. It's Chris Hansen she should be worried about. DL. Now, I do not disagree about the husband, okay? I told you I don't like that husband for Nicki Minaj at all, but that is not my business. That's hers if that's who she wants to be with. All right, but it wouldn't have been my choice. And if I could pick for her, I wouldn't have picked that. However, that's her business. But there's a difference here, okay? Now, we all know if you know the story of Nicki Minaj's husband, her husband caught a case when he was a minor, okay? He was about 15, 16, and the girl that he was convicted of, SAing was a minor as well. She was like maybe a year or so older than him. And so that's what DL Hughley is talking about, okay? He was convicted of that. And so that's a fact. Now, he says it didn't happen. And there have been cases where people lie. There's been things going back and forth. Tasha K's talked about this. I don't know. I don't get into that, okay? That is Nicki Minaj's business. That's hers. That's who she wants to deal with. However, we are talking about politicians, okay? And so he decided to get personal when she's talking about a politician and she lives in the state of California where she pays property taxes, okay? Where she pays property taxes, all right? And she said, hey, I am going to say something about what's going on with Gavin Newsom and these trans. However, DL Hughley doesn't like anybody talking about Democrats. Okay. Now, I don't know why he's going to bat for Greasy Gavin, but let it be. This is why I don't think DL Hughley should talk at all. Okay. If you guys don't know or don't remember, DL Hughley's daughter, all right, was SA'd while she was a minor, came and told her father what happened, when it happened, and because he was friends with the other person, he dismissed it. Okay, let's get into it. Mm. Mhm. He didn't do nothing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, when they have an awful, crappy daddy like you, okay? Your own daughter, all right? Even if you had an inkling it may be off, you look into it. Your own daughter, you couldn't hear it? Okay, hold on. Give me 1 second. You couldn't hear it, you guys? StreamYard is wilding already. All right, hold on. Let's see. Tell me if you can hear it when I play it now.
When people do stuff like this, they're always above reproach.
Did y'all hear that? Could you hear that? Let me know if you could hear that. And big bag on the left.
Nobody ever believes them.
You heard that? All right, cool. All right, so let's start from the top. Here we go.
Everybody's do. How come when people do stuff like this, they're always above reproach? Nobody ever believes them, and then it's always a lot of it. And it's always and the reason it hits home to me is because my youngest daughter said something happened to her, and because it was somebody I like, I didn't believe her. And I'll never get that back. She'll never. I'm supposed to protect her, and I'll never get that back. That she told her father something, and he didn't do nothing about it because it was inconvenient.
Absolutely.
So I could see how that could play.
Right.
And it's so many everybody wandering around why women are mad and why people are like that. Look at the shit they go through. Yeah. Like when everybody's do it.
Yeah. And so that's what I was talking about, you guys. I apologize. I don't know why it went out, but it went out. That's the life of StreamYard. So you guys, here's the thing. DL Hughley is not only trash at his politics. He's trash as a father. Okay. Now I mind my business. I don't really get into people's personal lives. Okay. But since he decided to go personal, we can go personal. Okay. Because again, I am no fan of what Nicki Minaj has going on personally, but as long as she's not, touching the kids, we're good. Okay. Your daughter came to you, your own daughter came to you and said that something was happening to her as an SA, and you didn't believe her because you liked the person it was about. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's absolutely insane. All right. It's so atrocious. It's so atrocious. Like, how do you have the nerves and the gall to actually stand up and say something about anybody else when you couldn't save your own daughter? And you couldn't save your own daughter because you didn't want to, not because you couldn't. Okay. You didn't save your own daughter because you didn't want to. You failed as a man in life. Like, you failed. Okay. We've been knew that you failed, but this takes the cake. Okay. Now we know why you're sassy. Okay. You could not protect your own child, and not because there was nothing that you could do about it. You actually could. You actually could. And you chose not to. Piss poor father. Absolutely. So with that being said, he doesn't have any room. He has absolutely no room to talk about Nicki Minaj. And Nicki Minaj was absolutely right to talk about Greasy Gavin. Okay. Greasy Gavin wants to praise trans kids. Let kids be kids. They want them to be gay. They want them to be lesbian, all this stuff, non-binary. Please. It's absolutely ridiculous. Why would anybody want that for children? As a grown man, if you want to wear tights, go ahead. As a grown man, if you want to wear princess dresses, go ahead. But why mess with the kids? I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I absolutely don't like it. So therefore, D.L. Hughley needs several seats. Okay. He needed one when he said that Kamala was black. Okay. We know Kamala ain't black. Okay. Not a bit of black, not a quarter black, not any black. Okay. Nothing. Absolutely not. D.L. Hughley can go sit down. So let's move on to our next. Well, actually, before we even do that, I just want to say this too. D.L. Hughley also had that drama with Janet Jackson. I remember that when she said something about Kamala not being black. Okay. And I just said something about him saying that Kamala was black. When she said something about Kamala not being black, he decided to jump on an actual black woman, okay, and say that Janet Jackson wants to be white because she's breathing through a white woman's nose. Now, I'm no fan of Janet Jackson's nose either, okay? That's not my thing, but that's her business. That's her face, all right? To come at a black woman, the women you say go through all of this stuff, it's absolutely insane. It's absolutely insane. It's absolutely insane because she called out the actual correct fact that Miss Curry, okay, is not black. But a black woman that's actually contribute to black society and black women being in music and film, dancers, all of these things. You call out because of what? Kamala, the woman who actually locked up black women for fun when their children were sick? Absolutely not. D.L. Hughley is a whole clown. He can't protect his daughter, and he don't protect black women at any cost because he's a leftist. Protect black women, protect all women. Yeah, you don't protect any of them. Why should we believe you? You need more people. Can't stand them. Absolutely not. So you guys let me know what you think about raggedy D.L. Hughley, because I can't do it. Can't do it. Won't do it. Now to get on to another atrocious person that someone absolutely needs to call out about this plastic surgery is Miss Jennifer Welch. Okay. This white woman right here, her name is Jennifer Welch. Okay. Now, they say she was in movies and all of this other stuff. I don't know what movie Jennifer Welch was in. Okay. I don't know. But she's on here with Don't Limon, who we know is sassy than his lemon drops. And they are talking about Charlie Kirk again. Okay. Talking about Charlie Kirk, talking about everything that is just atrocious, but have the nerve to keep speaking on Donald Trump. It's just so asinine what the left does. But particularly this woman here. All right. When I tell you the fall of the United States will be liberal white women, they are running amok. I'm telling you, they're running amok on my last nerve. But this one right here, okay, who has done everything to her face, but stop, has something nasty to say. I want you guys to hear this. Here we go.
That they need to stay at home and they need to value marriage. Meanwhile, while she's working full time. And then she was with Barry Weiss recently of CBS News. And here's a segment of the interview.
One of the most alarming things about Charlie's murder was the way that some people in this country reacted to it.
Yeah.
And not just online. This was an idea that you encountered a lot. And the idea was this. They kind of justified it. They basically said that because Charlie said or believed things that they believed were controversial or even hateful, that he somehow had it coming. What do you say to people who justified his death?
You're sick. He's a human being. You think he deserved that? Tell that to my 3-year-old daughter. Excuse me. You want to watch in high res the video of my husband being murdered and laugh and say he deserves it? There's something very sick in your soul, and I pray that God saves you. I pray.
I don't.
Because that is what is so wrong. The internet in this world has dehumanized us.
That's bad.
Yeah.
So, Dawn, Barry Weiss, the premise of her question is that people that I guess justified his death.
I don't know anyone who justified his death.
The person that I heard that justified his death was him. He's the one that said on tape that if school kids die, but it means he gets to have a Second Amendment, then that's what it's going to be.
That, I almost said the word, I'm telling you, it rhymes with witch, okay? I almost said it. About that much. This one right here, okay? That witch had the nerve to say that Charlie Kirk did not say that, okay? Like the left loves to take things out of context. I can't stand that woman, okay? Nor can I stand Don't Limon, okay? Talking about, oh no, I don't know anybody that justifies that. Yes, you do. You know, bald-headed Joy Reid. Bald-headed Joy Reid. You absolutely know bald-headed Joy Reid. Okay, because both of you have TDS. Okay, both of you, especially Joy Reid, has bald-headed reasoning. I mean, the woman is bald on all fronts, the side, the back, the middle. Just go ahead and shave it, Joy. Just do the Ayanna Priestley. But this woman had the nerve of her. Okay, when your face looks like this. The nerve of you, okay? When I can literally put my finger on your teeth. Like, the nerve.
He's the one that justified it. And I believe at the time of shooting, he was talking about gun violence at the time. That's wild to me, number one. And then for her, I want to get your opinion on this as a Black man, for her to say that people are dehumanizing Charlie Kirk. I remember him dehumanizing a Black pilot. He wouldn't want to fly on a plane if a pilot was Black, which is, you know, turning point. Everywhere he went, it was the dehumanization of Black people. So I want to get your take on both of those things.
Before we get bottom Dawn, okay? Before we get Bottom Dawn's response, he didn't say that either. Okay. He said he doesn't want to get on a plane and wonder if this person is DEI hire or not. That's what he said. Okay. And that was because when you put quotas ahead of safety, okay, lowering standards and things like that, which is what they did in the Washington region. Okay. You guys remember that helicopter that hit the American airliner jet? Okay, and it fell into the Potomac here in DC. That was just a couple of months ago. All right. You remember that? Well, the pilot was a DEI hire. She shouldn't have been in it in the first place. She didn't even have the flight hours. Okay. But they were pushing under the Biden administration to have women in. Okay, flying these Hawk helicopters. All right. And she flew well below where she should have been flying. Messed up everybody else's life. So I understand what Charlie Kirk was saying. And the thing about it is he's white. Okay. He's white and he said it. That's why. That's it. That's it. But liberals can say whatever they want. She's white and she talks about black people all the time. It's just because she's on the other side. Okay. Make no mistake about it. That woman would not spit on you if you were black. Okay. She don't care about Don Limon. Okay. Because the moment he gets on her nerves, he's going to be a sassy. You know what?
Well, I just got off of a plane, and never did I once even think about what color the pilot is, you know, and I don't care what color they are. I don't care what ethnicity. I don't care what gender they are, as long as they have the skills to fly the plane. So I don't look at it that way. And I think it's ridiculous. He also said that black women didn't have enough brain processing power. I don't know if you remember that. So a couple of things. Number one, as I was saying, I don't know anyone that justified Charlie Kirk's death, that said, oh yeah, I'm so glad that he died and he deserved to die. I don't know anyone who said that. Now, the internet can be cruel. I will agree with her on that. And you know that. Folks in the comments can be cruel. However, I believe the crux of her question, or the framing of her question, was wrong, because no one did. And those are separate things. There's nuance.
Now they want to talk about nuance. There's plenty of nuance with what you just said. Charlie Kirk said. You could not like Charlie Kirk, and that's fine with me, because that's not my man. That's not, my relative, and I'm not going to go to bat for people, okay, who have, relatives. And, when he was here, he talked for himself. He stood up for himself, okay? But at the same time, if you're wrong, you're wrong, okay? I didn't agree with everything Charlie Kirk said, but when there is nuance, as he says, yeah, you might want to point that out. Okay. But they're okay with nuance on the left. Okay. He's over there trying to defend this CBS reporter, but yet you don't show the nuance when it's a person that you don't like. I can't stand this woman or sassy Don Limon. Y'all can't tell me that she don't look like that. Y'all can't tell me that she don't look like that. Every time I think of her, I think of this picture. Look at it. Look at her. That's her. That's her. Either that or the screen mask. Okay. Okay. I get it. Oh my gosh. That is your quick shots. Okay. I can't take any more of Sassy and Mary Had a Little Lamb. You guys get down in the comments and let me know what you think about DL Hughley versus Nicki Minaj, okay, on Twitter Wars, aka X post. And then let me know what you think about the Crypt Keeper, Jennifer Welch, and Don Limon. He's a sassy one. You guys get down in the comments and let me know what you think about their response to Erika Kirk's town hall. Just nasty. So nasty. So rude. You guys, let me go ahead and read these super chats really quick, and then we'll get everything started. At the Business Bully, thank you so much. I appreciate you. You guys go ahead and make sure you guys check out Dave's book, The Black Agenda, okay? At thebusinessbully.com, I think it's on. All right. 499 super chat, thank you. Flew 3,000 miles and still pulled up to watch. You decipher that bald-headed reasoning. Fani, nutty as a squirrel. Yes, get him. Miss Gorilla Grip herself is back on the docket. Okay, we're gonna pour it up to that. Thank you so much, Dave. I appreciate you. And you guys support Dave. He's awesome. He's everywhere too. Okay. Every time you turn on a short or IG post, it's Dave. You know, slaughtering somebody with knowledge. Thank you, Dave. At the Genius CEO with the $5 super chat. Thank you so much. My Red Cup Talks dudes. Keep it coming. Keep up the great work. I didn't change the words. Keep up the great work in Mika We Trust. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Yeah. You know, keep paying them dues. Like y'all pay them HOAs and you know, like y'all give y'all money to the government. I'll do a better job with it. If you paid me, I will tell you what to do with your taxes. Okay. I'll tell y'all that anyway, but I'll probably go more in depth about it. Thank you. All right, you guys. Yes, you got that grip. That's what they said. That's what he said. That's what she said. That she had the gorilla grip. Y'all remember that? When Fanny first got in trouble? Y'all don't remember that? Come on now. Y'all got to keep up. All right. Let's go ahead and get into it, okay? Because yeah. Let's just go ahead and get into it. Let's see. Let's pull it up. Where do I have them? Oof. Where is she? Okay. Here we go. All right. So I want to go ahead and get into this because Erika Kirk, if you don't know, Erika Kirk and Candace Owens met up yesterday, okay? You would have thought the way they were talking about it on X, it was like two people coming out for a fight, you know, after school, okay? You would have thought so. Because people were like, oh my God. They're going to meet up. And then you had the other side of the people saying, she got the call. They told her to simmer down. Okay. I don't know which one it is, but I do know they did meet. Candace Owens put this out, all right, on social media. All right. And I want you to see what she said yesterday. All right. After they had met. And this is what she said, because obviously she said everybody was searching for her. So she wanted to let you know she was still alive.
4.5 hours later, I'm alive. I'm alive. I'm totally fine. And I am sorry. I was going to do a show for you guys this evening, but I am truly exhausted. Very productive conversation. I asked every single question. I mean, from Egyptian planes to Turning Point USA Faith. And I was very surprised by some of the answers that I got. And I think they were also very surprised when I shared certain intel. This probably should have happened a very long time ago, but I wanted to let you guys know that I am alive, and I will have the full rundown for you guys tomorrow of what transpired. And yeah, I think it was definitely a very big step in the right direction. So I'll see you guys tomorrow.
All right, Candy. All right, so that was Candy's message to the people, okay? Candy said this, that, and the third. All right, cool. Now, here comes Candy. All right. This was on her show. All right. I wanted to point out a few things that she had to say. All right. So the first thing I want to point out is that she said that she should not have said what she said. Okay. She didn't want to be like NICKI. I said what I said. She said that she shouldn't have had gone scorched earth telling people not to support Erika Kirk and Turning Point USA. All right. Now, you remember once upon a time, she was a part of Turning Point USA. All right. Her and Officer Tatum. All right. They were a part of Turning Point USA, even creating Blexit. All right. She's one of the co-founders. So there's that. I want you guys to hear what she had to say about telling people not to give money and go on scorched earth.
They were sort of most upset with what I obviously a bit of a fever pitch when I tweeted that it was a godforsaken company and people should not give money to it.
Oh.
And I have to own that. That's aggressive. That is actually aggressive in the retrospect. I was very frustrated. And I don't know. I felt like we weren't getting any answers and there were so many lies. And then I was getting attacked for asking all meaningful questions that was within their capacity to answer. And I told you, I definitely, my problem in life is that I can rise to anger very quickly. I shared with them that I really felt like I was under attack for telling the truth from the very beginning, like casually, when I mentioned the Catholicism thing. Like, what was that about? I was like, look, I say something in a tribute to him. Alex Clark and Andrew Colvett then jump onto a podcast and they're doing that weird interview, which is clearly ads. They were sort of most upset with.
So she's mad they're doing a weird interview. She's mad they're calling her a liar. Da, 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 da. And so she gets mad and she has an anger problem. And she tells people not to go support them, but she really doesn't feel that way. So now she's taking it back. My mind. So you were just mad. See, don't get me wrong. I like Candace. You know, at certain times, I think she does really good, journalism, if you will. But this right here, I don't like. I don't like that. I don't like that. That means in the midst of your truth telling, in the midst of your, everything that you're doing, if they make you mad enough, you'll just say SHIT. If they make you mad enough, you just say it. Okay. You just say whatever you want. I don't like that. All right. I don't like that. That is absolutely wild. All right. I don't like that. Because if you're willing to just say anything because you're mad, then what else did you just say because you're mad? Right? You see how that can mess up everything else? I don't like that. I don't like that. It's cool if she speaks her mind, right? But if you're going to say that you're above board, you need to be above board, period. Right? But if you're adding in stuff that says, I probably shouldn't have said that. Like, you're admitting to that because it's like, okay, it's about money. But what else did you say? And then we don't know what else you copped to because there's no recording of this meeting that you had. So again, this is the reason why people feel how they feel. Okay. It makes everything come full circle. Okay, that you would say something, the people that believe that you're a liar, right? And I'm not saying if you are or aren't, but it gives credence to it because, she just says things because she's angry. And people have said that you were angry about stuff. Okay, stand on it. If this is what you believe, stand on it, but don't do things because you were angry. That's it. And that's all. Here's the other thing that I want to get into from her broadcast, okay, after the meeting. I want to get into when she said that Andrew Colvett told her or texted her about the Netanyahu situation, trying to offer Charlie Kirk money, and Charlie Kirk declined, right? And so with that being said, she said that Erika Kirk said that, she knew about it, I guess. Here we go.
I was immediately refreshed by the fact that one of the first things that Erika did was she owned the lies, or rather, I guess they would cage it as miscommunications that were coming from various people at the company. Like, look, this is a company with 650 people that are employed. Everybody at this time is exceedingly emotional and they are communicating. And no matter what somebody says on Twitter, they assume that this communication has come down from management, and that's not always a circumstance. But they owned right away, which felt great, that if you guys recall, Erika sat down with Glenn Beck. I actually missed this portion because I didn't get to watch the interview in its entirety, and we were pulling clips because a lot was coming out very quickly. But there was a portion that was going around that was viral, and it was Erika saying that she had Charlie's phone and that Charlie never texted anybody the night before saying that he thought that they were going to kill him. And that obviously reflected poorly on me because I was the one who said that he did, in fact, text multiple people the night before. And then I went on Jimmy Dore on Friday, Jimmy Dore's show, and I clarified. I said, Andrew Colvett told me specifically that he was one of the people that received this text message. So I got that first person. I didn't get that from a source. I got that directly from Andrew Colvett. And then somebody who had access to Dan Flood's communications said that Dan Flood similarly received a text message. They owned that right away and explained. Erika said that she has Charlie's phone. She's looking at his iMessages. And it turns out that he, like everybody else, communicates on Signal. He communicates on Telegram. And that those when she heard me say that, they then went and looked. And yes, that what I said was true. Andrew Colvett received a message the night before, and Dan Flood received a message the night before. Now, they asked me if I had actually like a concrete a copy of what Dan Flood got the night before. And I said, no. Somebody told me what it said, which was almost exactly what Andrew said, which is they're going to kill me. Andrew did not know who they were, that the they that he was referring to were.
Netanyahu,
but they clarified that the message that Dan Flood received said the left is going to kill me. So I can't confirm that one way or the other. I have to trust them on that because I did not see that concrete message. I was told that it said they.
So technically, you didn't see anything. And I'm not saying it doesn't exist or not, but we went through 2 minutes and 28 seconds of that. Okay. And so you see, oh my gosh, Candace. And I like Candace. Okay. I like Candace. But girl, this is the reason, these things exist. Like Candace, you already know they're gunning for you. Okay. They don't like you. They don't like you. They already don't like Black conservatives. They don't like conservatives of color, Latino, Native American, don't matter. Yeah. The thing about it is you already know they're gunning for you. Then why not have the receipts, right? I mean, you can say it, but then Andrew says that he didn't say that. Or Andrew says that he didn't show you that. So, and I remember vividly on another live stream I did, I remember Candace saying that Andrew told her not to say anything, but she's going to say it because, people are saying that she's a liar. So since they want to say that she's a liar, she's going to put it out there. There it is again. She's upset. And now she's going to put something out. How did you know Andrew's life wasn't in danger? So he told you and asked you not to tell, but you told anyway. And you told all of us, okay? Because you have like 200K people in your life? Candace, Candy Cane, what are you doing, darling? Okay, so that was the major points that I took away from her live stream. Okay, that she talked, and they came to some type of consensus, yada 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 yada. And here is Candace speaking on just that.
Also, another thing that really, I think, surprised them and I think surprised me is getting back to this Hamptons retreat. The thing about the Hamptons retreat, and I communicated this with them, that makes me so uncomfortable is how many little lies were told.
Oh,
I think I've been clear about that.
Oh.
Like Seth Dillon definitively pressed Charlie at this event. Now, whether it was in a hypothetical, which it was in a hypothetical, but he got fired up in the hypothetical of Charlie discussing potentially tweeting something against Bibi Netanyahu, it did lead to this firecracker moment. Again, this is one of those things where I go, why am I always being held out to dry, hung out to dry for telling people the truth? Especially when I wasn't going, oh, well, Seth Dillon killed Charlie Kirk. I just, this happened. It factually happened. And yet everybody's kind of putting out these weird statements and they're not being honest in them. And I was saying to them, that made me feel really weird. And I would love to know more about this Bibi Netanyahu offer to fund Turning Point to the next level. At which point Erika said she was not aware of that happening. It is obviously totally possible that that was kept in the business lane of Turning Point USA. but I'm certain, I said, I am absolutely certain that I did not get this from an obscure source, that BIBI offered to fund Turning Point to the next level. And it was part of my frustration with that sit down with Alex Clark, where Andrew said, oh, there was not $150 million that's made up. You know, I told them, Andrew Colvett was my source. Andrew Colvett told me verbatim that Bibi Netanyahu offered to take Turning Point to the next level and that Charlie turned that money down. So I said, there's a bit of a predicament when I'm being like lambasted by all of these voices and people that are attacking me and these paid campaigns. And when I say paid, yes, okay, actually have the names of people. Different ways they're being paid. Some are being paid by PR firms. Too many are being paid by Prager University, which is upsetting to me because I know Marissa and it's just dirty.
Here's the thing. Okay. She's in independent media journalism. Okay. When you have a source, yes, but when you have a source, you can't tell on your source. You can't do it, okay? Because people are going to be afraid to tell you information, all right? Because again, Andrew, let's just take all of this as truth, right? Andrew is not wanting to say that he told you, ma'am. Like, it's obviously clear. You said he went on, he's gone on a podcast or a program now, and, you know, so on and so on. Andrew has said he didn't a couple of times now, right? So obviously, Andrew doesn't want to say he did it. But Andrew wants the information out there, according to you. So with that being said, why tell on Andrew? You know, redact the text. If you have to show something or whatever, you can show that you got the source, right? Like, people in journalism have been doing this for a long time. Okay. The lady that told about the Hunter Biden laptop from CBS, she still hasn't told how she got the Hunter Biden laptop information. Okay. And she has like tons of different hard drives just in case, you know, somebody breaks in her house and steal one. She has another one here and another one there. That's what she said. Okay. So with that being said, ma'am, there are tons of different ways. But here's the thing. Everything always comes out for Candace when she's upset. That's all. And I'm just like, she's being lambasted by this person and this person and this person, this person. And it's like, Candace, just get us the information, right? Get us the information and you can do, you know, whatever with the information. But get the information, because when people feel like they can't tell you the information, how are you going to tell the information? That's all. Like, we just have to be mindful of others, because now who's to say that Andrew's not in trouble now? Right? Like, you could have put Andrew in a particular type of position. It's not just about Candace, right? If somebody is working with you, Candace, you gotta look at their situation as well. But because she got upset, this is what she just said, because she got frustrated that people were, you know, talk about her on here, there, and everywhere. It's like, throw Andrew to the wolves, right? And so that's the only thing that I didn't like about the whole thing. But other than that, hey, if it's true, it's true. I wish we could have, you know, had that recorded, because when things aren't recorded, you know, everybody can come back and say this or that. So I'm very interested to hear what Erika will be saying next. Now, that was, you know, all of her cast. Okay. I want to get into Piers Morgan's cast now. All right. Because Piers Morgan invited Candace on. All right. And he did not hold back. Okay. He did not hold back at all. So I want to get into what Piers Morgan and Candace Owens were beefing about. And this first one was the Tyler Robinson story. Okay. Which I'm not a big fan of the whole Tyler Robinson narrative, but here we go.
now most likely that Tyler Robinson killed Charlie Kirk?
Absolutely not. I haven't seen one piece of compelling evidence that Tyler Robinson scaled the rooftops like Spider-Man on a college campus that he didn't go to, and fired one shot, a magic bullet shot, and killed Charlie Kirk. I have not seen one piece of compelling evidence. In fact, I've seen more compelling evidence to the contrary.
You've seen their vibrant ads illuminating billboards and train stations for many years.
We're not.
Now it's time.
We're not, Piers. We're not. Okay. So she doesn't believe that. Okay. So my premise is, okay, she doesn't believe that. I can, I can float with her on that. But let's get into her meeting with Erika Kirk, because I thought this was quite well.
Amid all of that, she joins me now for her first interview since the meeting with Erika Kirk. Candace Owens, welcome back to Uncensored.
It's good to be with you at the end of another year.
Yes, and what a year it's been, not least for you. It's fair to say your fame continues to rise, infamy, some would put it, but you're always a welcome guest on Uncensored. Let's get to this extraordinary meeting that you had with Erika Kirk.
What's up, everybody in chat?
It came right after we saw her say in that CBS town hall, you should just stop with the conspiracy theories. So who approached who about you guys actually getting together?
I was approached by Turning Point after Blake Neff, who works on Charlie's show, sort of fumbled this invite. It was, I'd almost say it was a fake invite publicly. And then in the middle of the night said, oh, Candace is not able to be here tomorrow. And they never messaged me. And I think there was quite a bit of public backlash with how they went about it. It just was just not the way that we try to set meetings. And so what happened after was they reached out to me, said Erika would agree to do a live stream, just the two of us. And then after Erika's PR blitz, they reached out again and said that they felt that it was better for us to meet one-on-one, as opposed to us sitting down having Megyn Kelly moderate, which was the idea originally.
Right. And so where did you have your summit meeting?
At a hotel here in Nashville.
And a lot of your, as you know, a lot of your supporters, fans of your show, think that you may have been lured into a trap. Did anything while you were there make you think you were being lured into a trap?
I don't know that a lot of my fans think that I was being lured into a trap. I think ahead of time they had some concerns, obviously, because I think in general, after you see a public assassination and you start tracking so many lies that are happening, there's going to be an understandable amount of angst that people feel. And I certainly felt the angst as well. I've obviously been very clear that I am suspicious of some of the characters that are at Turning Point USA. So I totally understand why the public was concerned.
When you saw Erika, she was obviously angry about you in that CBS town hall. What was her demeanor like when you met her?
Well, I don't think that she thought she was angry in that. I think maybe that was the characterization from the public. I certainly thought she was angry as well. And she sort of clarified that she was a bit annoyed by the questioning, the way in which Barry had set up the question with the podcaster Candace Owens, which I think was definitely being driven more by Barry Weiss's feelings towards me, long-running feelings towards me, than it was perhaps for the benefit of CBS and trying to pretend to be an impartial journalist. So I think she was frustrated by the line of questioning, is what she explained to me.
Now that's a fact. Okay. CBS is definitely not impartial. Okay. Because they did not let that Hunter Biden story run, and their journalist was a liberal. Okay. Is a liberal woman. They did not let that woman do the story. What's going on, everybody that just pulled up? Thank you. Yeah, I absolutely believe that 100%. CBS is definitely not impartial. Okay. Here's the thing. Candace and Piers continue down here, and they started getting into this tit for tat. And it was one part in here. I think it's down here in the, did did Erika Kirk have a request of Candace, right? Because here's the thing. You have the people that love Candace and they're like, okay, cool. We believe what Candace came back and told us. And then there's the people that like Candace, but think Candace is bending the knee, right? Like, oh, you went there, you got the call. Well, now you are, you know, you're going to be doing what Erika Kirk says. So here is Piers Morgan asking her that very question. Does she have anything that, you know, Erika Kirk requested?
At that moment, she felt that Barry Weiss was being Barry Weiss.
And she made no request of you whatsoever, Erika Kirk, in 4.5 hours.
Request in what sense?
About how she would like you to conduct yourself about the murder of her husband going forward.
No.
Nothing at all.
No, she didn't make a request for me to conduct myself in
And
any
she
way
expressed
going
no
forward.
concern
I mean,
about any of the theories that you've been
I
putting
think
out.
she probably knows me through the lens of her husband, so I don't know if that would be a thing that she would have done. But no, she did not. She did not ask me to conduct myself in any way. That seems to just be coming from the media of how I should conduct myself.
Am I right in thinking that your mind has taken you to a place where you genuinely believe that Israel, Egypt, Turning Point employees, and Tyler Robinson, and potentially others, but they were all involved in the murder of Charlie Kirk?
Well, to be fair, I think we're all putting Egypt in parentheses because we kind of don't think that we have exactly a strong Egyptian lobby here in the United States. And there is a lot of historical precedent with Israel kind of using Egyptian planes or using the Egyptian narrative when they want to accomplish things. So, I mean, I just pointed out that this is an Egyptian plane, but Israel, I got tons of questions about. Yeah, I think Israel is a very good place to start when Bibi Netanyahu is just denying and just way too involved in the beginning. That was weird. Everyone felt it was weird, and they were right to feel that it was weird. And when Bibi admits that he called him 2 weeks before and invited him to Israel, like, what's that about? People are being, and also because it just happens to be that from the very beginning, Zionists don't want us investigating the Charlie Kirk assassination. So it's just, I would say, the usual suspects. You are correct that I have and sent information, and it has not been denied by the Élysée Palace, the White House, or the Pentagon, that the French Foreign Legion was on the ground that day. Again, something that I flagged to Turning Point USA, Justin Strife, that for whatever reason, the feds don't want this information, which is a bit strange, or don't seem to be interested, or maybe
so we add the French Foreign Legion to the list as well.
Yeah, but the French Foreign Legion is like a bandit of, you know, I mean, what I've learned about them now is it's like it's a bunch of different countries. It's not just French people. And yeah, that all sounds about right to me. Is there anything else I can answer?
You know, I think we've probably covered it. It's a lot of people involved in this murder. And my guess, Candace, for what it's worth, is it'll turn out none of that is true, and that it was Tyler Robinson who, for his own politically motivated reasons, hence brandishing the bullet casings with words like anti-fascist slogans and so on, that's why he did it. He believed that he'd been led to believe Charlie Kirk was a fascist, so he had to kill him, which is a different issue about why I feel so strong.
Okay, here's my whole thing on that. Okay, here's my whole thing. Candace, here we are. All right. Let's say we get to the end of whatever she's looking for, whatever she has the information on, and so on and so on and so on, right? And let's say some of the information is correct and some of it's wrong. Is she going to come back and say what was wrong? Is she going to correct that information and say, hey, I got this wrong, but this is right? Like, there's a lot going on. Do I believe the official narrative? Absolutely not. Okay. Just being a gun owner myself. Okay. Absolutely not. All right. But I do believe there are other nefarious things going on. Now, to the extent of what maybe Candace believes, I don't have anything to disprove or prove what she's saying. Okay. But with that being said, we only have, what she's saying. There's actually nothing that we have seen. She says she showed it to Erika Kirk and Erika Kirk believes it or whatever. But it's the public that you're trying to convince, right? And so she has people that do believe her hands down. And then she has people, that, side eyes her. And then, there's people in between. And so I'm one of those people in between, right? If you got information, because I never believe in nothing's on the straight and narrow, okay? And we all know about the hidden hand, all right? We know the hidden hand. But with that being said, just because there is doesn't mean that it always is that, right? And so therefore, I like concrete information. Now, when she did that Kamala review, all right, and she put out she had the information. She had the information. And so with that, I was fine with it. Okay. She had the information. She had the clip-ins. She had birth, what do you call them? Birth records. She had all of that information. So I was fine. I was absolutely fine with it. Right? Because she could back up what she was saying. And if she had an inkling of something, she said, this is just what I think, right? And I'm going to follow it. So, I was fine with what she was saying because she went and said, hey, I'm going to follow this. I'm going to follow that. I'm fine with that. But what I do not do is I don't take anybody's word. I don't care if it's Candace Owens or whoever. All right. I don't take anybody's word for it. I will listen. But I don't just take your word just to take your word. Okay. So Candace is going to have to come up, with some more proof. Maybe she's only going to show it to, I don't know, Charlie Kirk and Charlie Kirk's family. Okay. In Turning Point. Maybe she's only going to show it to them. I don't know. However, I don't take anybody's word for it. I want to see the receipts. I'm like Whitney Houston. Show me the receipts. Okay. Just show them to me. Right. I'm not going to say that she's lying and I'm not going to say that she's telling the truth until I see it. Right. I had an inkling that Kamala wasn't black and Candace showed the receipts. Okay. Show the receipts. That's it. And then if you can't just, you can say, hey, I don't have proof of this, but my gut tells me that this is what's happening. That way people know certain things are opinions, because for the life of me, when we're on this internet, people will say, oh, I got this from such and such. This is the truth. This is the truth. That's just what they do, especially to YouTubers, right? And so, like I said, I don't have beef with Candace. I like Candace. I just think, when you decide to go at people, you're going to get pushback if you can't definitively prove something, right? And so when you went at Kamala, you had it. And so I would like to see the same thing for, the whole Charlie Kirk situation, and the reason why I would like to see that is because this is someone who's very beloved, and this is a whole movement with the conservative movement. And so I'm rooting and hoping, Candace does the right thing and is telling the truth. But Erika Kirk had a lawyer with her. So you take that for what you will. Okay. Take that for what you will. So that is what I gathered from this entire melee of information, if you will. Yeah. Candace, Erika had a lawyer. So she had a lawyer come with her and sit. So it was her, Candace, and Erika Kirk's lawyer. And it's like, why did Erika Kirk had a lawyer there? Like, why did she have a lawyer there? She let Candace talk too? Okay. I wouldn't be surprised if, in a couple of weeks to a couple of months, we're talking about some lawsuits. All right. Or we're talking about certain things, or if she goes to dig up things. Like, I'm just, we're going to follow it. Okay. We're going to follow it. If anything becomes of it, we'll have, we'll have our cups and our popcorn. Okay. And we'll just look at it and we'll find out Why? And it could be scare tactics. It could be, or it could be she knows she's lying. Like, we don't know because we couldn't hear it. And that's the crazy part, right? So I don't know. All right. And and you guys already know how, I feel about Erika Kirk. I think Erika's just everywhere and she needs to have a seat. Like, have a seat, because people are also, tearing her apart, picking her body language apart, picking this apart, picking that apart. And she's not able to articulate certain points, while she's grieving. So it is what it is. But those are my thoughts on this whole melee. This interview was very long with Piers Morgan, but it was good. So if you got time, go look at it, you guys. I think it was very, very, very informative. Go look at it. All right. That is a mess. But you guys get down in the comments and let me know what you think about Candace and Erika Kirk's off-script meetup. All right. Was should have been recorded. Let me know what you think about it. All right. Candace was alive. Apparently that was a big thing. Candace was alive, because some people thought she was going to be unalive by small hats. Child, it's a mess. Also, let me know what you think about, the whole Piers Morgan back and forth, and go watch it. Piers Morgan is very, 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 very shady. He's a shady one. So I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. It should have been recorded. And you know what? Megyn Kelly was actually supposed to moderate it. Okay. Megyn Kelly also went scorched earth. Child, let me see if I can pull that up really quick before I read these super chats. Let me see. Megyn Kelly. No, not that one. Megyn Kelly and Candace. Because Megyn Kelly got upset because I guess she was supposed to moderate because she was like the person that got it all together or whatever. Yeah, here it is. Here it is. Here it is. All right. Yeah, here it is. Hold on, I'm gonna share it real quick. Okay, so this is what Megyn Kelly was saying on her show.
So in any event, Candace knows I disagree with her on this. Petty internet people want to turn that into a cat fight between Candace and yours truly, which will fail. She and I actually have only gotten closer over the past couple of months as people try to make me attack her. So fuck off, okay? So in any event, Candace knows I disagree with her on this.
I told you. That's what she said. That's what she said. Okay. That's what she said. I saw that earlier. Okay. She was, Megyn Kelly loves a good curse word, child. And that's what Megyn Kelly was saying. That amongst other words. Okay. That's what she said. All right. So I just wanted to show you that tidbit because she was supposed to had, done the moderation. So, take that with how you take it. All right. All right. Let me go ahead and read these super chats and stop being messy. I saw that and I said, who she talking to? Who is she talking to? She's talking to somebody. All right, you guys, let's go ahead and read these super chats really quick. I'm pulling them up really quickly. All right. Magnetar with the $5 super chat. Thank you so much. All right. Razor blades found in bakery items at Walmart in Biloxi, Mississippi. Be careful out here. Jeez. Absolutely. Sad. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. That's just awful. Eric Harris, 9514. What does that stand for? Thank you so much, Eric. I appreciate it. Hey, Mika and chat. What's going on, Eric? I appreciate you. Thank you. When y'all have numbers behind the names, I always wonder what's it for. And we have the super sticker from B Hunter. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. He's just saying, what up? I appreciate you. Always supporting. Lyric the Gamer with a $10 super chat. Thank you. I appreciate you. What up, Mika? I have a suggestion. Would you collab with AD on the Patreon to do a tax club for the bag chasers? I absolutely would. Okay, you guys know I love taxes. Okay, I love nothing better than to not pay a tax. Okay, and I would love nothing better than for you to have to not pay a tax. Okay, so yeah, I absolutely would. Absolutely. Okay, so you run tell AD that. Okay, you go ahead and tell Anton that. Okay, Mr. Daniels. Thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate it. Yeah, I love that. If you guys don't know, I have a degree in mathematics and accounting, and that's pretty much what I do. Like I live and breathe taxes. Like I could talk about that all day, honestly and truly. Thank you so much for the super chat. Dre Harden, Team Candace, they'll call her crazy, but they haven't said she's a liar. There's a reason for that. Well, Erika Kirk did. Okay, Erika Kirk said she was lying. I have a tag on the side of me that I should have cut. Okay, it's on the side of my rib and it's just itching me. But yeah, Erika Kirk said that she was lying. Okay. Now, again, I don't believe everything in that official story. Okay. I don't care what government it is. But I'm not going to say Candace is telling the truth about everything, but do I think Candace might be onto something? Absolutely. Okay. She might be. And I'm willing to, let her go down the road and see what she can discover. Okay. She has, she has become immensely big over the last 5 years. So, she has amassed different contacts and different people that she may know that she can reach out to that, the average independent journalist may not. All right. Or that the average independent journalist, if they did find something, they would get blocked on. Candace has a bit of of reach. So yeah, I'm willing to let her go down the hole. We shall see. So, everything comes out in the wash. That's what my grandma used to say. Everything comes out. So we shall see. Okay. I like Candace. So, I'm hoping she's, doing this with the best intentions. Okay. Because I do know Charlie Kirk was her friend. So I do hope that it's good intentions. Thank you so much for the super chat. Chavis, what's going on? $5 super chat. Thank you so much. DL wasn't funny even on Kings of Comedy. Nope. He had like one funny joke, the wrench around. And that's only because I'm country. So I know what that's like. Okay. For the W's to blend in with the R's. Okay. So I thought that was funny because I understood it. Yet it's funny how he's coming for anyone not saying blue no matter who, looking like burnt child. Not burnt chitlins. Thank you so much. Oh my God, y'all going in today. What's wrong? What's wrong? What y'all have done on a Wednesday? Okay. Y'all are going scorch earth. Thank you so much, you guys, for the super chats. I appreciate you. All right. So let's get into this whole Vanity Fair issue. When I tell you this was a mess, you guys. And what am I talking about? I am talking about this Vanity Fair situation. Okay, so if you don't know, Vanity Fair did a hit piece. Okay, we're going to call it the hit piece. All right, Vanity Fair did a hit piece by way of Susie Wiles, who you see at the bottom of the screen. Okay, Susie Wiles is the chief of staff. Okay, she's the first woman to ever do so. For those who like to say Donald Trump is a sexist. Okay, those here and there and far. Donald Trump put her as the first woman to be chief of staff. Now, here's the thing about this. Susie Wiles went to this Vanity Fair reporter. They said they wanted to do, a piece on the Trump administration, which I would have looked at with a side eye, okay? Because Killer Mike, aka Michelle Obama, has been on Vanity Fair's cover more times than I can count, okay? Meanwhile, Trump's wife has never been on the cover. Never been on the cover, okay? So that tells me that they're not very, they don't take a liking to Donald Trump. And that's fine. But to come out of nowhere and say, oh, we want to do a piece on you, I would have side-eyed it. But Susie went with it, okay? Being the nice, gracious woman that she is, she went with it. Susie's very quiet, all right? And so she went with it. And now we have what we have, okay? And the reason why I call it a hit piece because the pictures. Now, Vanity Fair gets into all of that. You know, I'm luxurious, I'm glamorous, even when I'm not glamorous, okay? Because Killer Mike looks like $1 million on those covers, and we know she don't look like that. However, they do all of this stuff, and it comes out crazy. What they actually write is crazy. It's wild. And the pictures, okay? Because Vanity Fair, of course, we know Vanity Fair is, you know, fashion, high fashion, this and that. This looked like prison, okay? The prison pictures, okay? It was pictures before they're retouched. What magazine puts untouched pictures out? Even if you're beautiful, they're retouched. This was a hit. And Susie let it happen. You can't make it up. Let's go ahead and get into it because the Crypt Keeper, she also had something to say about this. So we'll start with the Crypt Keeper. All right. The Crypt Keeper always wants to talk. Always.
The most diabolical part of all of this isn't Susie Wiles' own words. It is the award-winning journalism, photojournalism. And you guys,
my favorite.
We're trotting these out, and these are like mug shots. Let's put them up. Here's Caroline Levitt and our friend Peter Twinklage on.
Now, who would put this picture up? Not no one. Like, look at it. Look. They knew what they were doing. Okay. Now, those little dots at the top, I'm going to tell you what those are. Those are for women who get lip fillers. Okay. And if you like it in lip fillers, you like it in lip fillers. That's your business, right? Normally, they would have put more lip liner on that, put a little lipstick on that, and then anything else they can see, they would have, you know, covered that up. It is a fashion magazine. Are you telling me they didn't know that was there? Or even if they did know that was there, do you see the makeup? Like, this is how, if you guys don't know, this is how makeup looks in real life, okay? That's how it looks in real life. Like, that's how it looks when it's caked up, okay? However, she probably has a lot of makeup on because she's supposed to be taking pictures. You're not going to tell me you're not going to smooth that out. Absolutely not. They did these people dirty, and it was done on purpose. Okay. And if it was me, and I hope they have something in the stash that says, you know, hey, we're going to do this and this and this to your pictures because this is a hit. Okay. If somebody posts a picture like me, a picture of me like that, if I had, you know, the little needle shots and things like that, and you put up a picture this close. Since when? This was on, like, this was one of the things on the cover. Since when? This is a hit. Absolutely. Couldn't have been me. Couldn't have been me. Okay. Vanity Fair would have been called Mika's Fair because I would have owned that paper after suing the hell out of all of them.
Twitter said, are these injector sites on her lips, lip filler injection sites? Yes. And I don't, you know, if she wants to do gender affirming care, she wants to get Botox. Look, I get Botox. No.
We know you get Botox. You ought to stop. You absolutely ought to stop. We know you get Botox. Ma'am, gender affirming care. I hate that they keep saying that. I heard Ratchet Crockett say that. Gender affirming care. What do you mean gender affirming care? It's plastic surgery, or it's I forget what they call it, but the stuff that you do before plastic surgery, your Botox, your fillers, your whatever. Huh? Gender affirming care. What does that mean? No, it's just Botox. Yes, trans people get it when they want to look more feminine and soften up their look. Okay. When people want to soften up their look, sometimes they use fillers and things like that. Right. That's just what they do. Med spa. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. But when you want to soften up your looks, you can do that. However, I'm telling you, this woman is evil. She's evil. This witch, replace the W, is evil. I'm telling you.
Knock on any of that. It's just so diabolical that this administration is constantly going on and on about gender affirming care, and every single one of them partake in it.
That's all I see when I look at her. Gender affirming care. Like, ma'am, really? But the left just kept going and going and going. And they honed in on, on her face because she is a young woman. Okay. She's like 29. All right. They're absolutely atrocious. Absolutely. But let's go ahead and get into this story as it was breaking. Here we go.
Let me get into some of the main things that I found very notable from what Chris Whipple, who works with Vanity Fair, detailed from their conversations. One is that Wiles referred to President Trump as someone having a, quote, alcoholic personality. She also talked a lot about the vice president, J.D. Vance, someone who I should note, had this conversion that Whipple noted as well, from never Trumper to a MAGA acolyte. Susie Wiles essentially said that change, that conversion has been, quote, sort of political. And she said the vice president has been a, quote, conspiracy theorist for a decade. She also talked about Russell Vought. He is the White House budget chief, but he's also, of course, one of the architects of that notorious Project 2025 conservative blueprint for the future of the Republican Party, something that Trump had previously, of course, disavowed. She argued that Vought is, quote, a right-wing absolute zealot. And then she also went into a number of different things. One, she talked about Pam Bondi, the attorney general, someone who was one of her closest friends, I should note, in this administration. She argued that Bondi, quote, completely whiffed the handling of the Epstein file. She also talked about how the president, who came in and offered a series of pardons to really roughly 1,000 people who were convicted for their crimes on January 6th, she essentially admitted that she had urged the president not to pardon those who had committed violent crimes on January 6th and on the Capitol attack. She also talked about how she disagreed with him sometimes when it came to tariffs, saying that she had urged him to delay some of the tariffs that he ultimately announced. And it goes on.
Okay. With friends like these, who needs enemies? Not you, Susie. Not you. Not you, Susie. Oh my gosh. So, that is what they claimed Miss Susie Wiles had said. All right. So now I want to get into what the conservatives are buzzing about. Okay. Via China News Network. Here we go.
To you, Scott Jennings, when you hear the litany of things that were said by Wiles, who is perhaps the most trusted person when it comes to Donald Trump, what do you make of what you just heard?
Well, look, I don't care if Susie Wiles or anyone else in the White House has an opinion. Truthfully, I don't care if they talk to a reporter. I don't care if they do it on the record or for a profile. Everybody's allowed to have opinions. And when you put a group of people together, in a White House, you're going to have differences of opinions about things. Perfectly fine. The only person's opinion here who really matters is the president's. He loves Susie Wiles. And
doesn't she help shape what he does?
Of course. And she runs the White House, and I think runs it quite effectively. I mean, the speed at which they've moved this time around has astonished all of the president's supporters. So, look, I mean, I view this as an act of transparency. And, I get that some of these things have rattled the chattering class in Washington. But for the president's supporters out in the country, I don't really think this is going to bother them all that much that people sat down and had some candid conversations. I mean, maybe they weren't quite expecting to hear it, but if the president of the United States says, I love Susie, and she's our person, and she's our chief. He said it yesterday. He's saying it today.
Well, all
Okay. So here's the thing. I'm going to tell you what I think they're doing. Okay. Last time he was in office, they put, because he didn't know anybody, right? And nobody liked him because he's an outsider, essentially. Okay. And so they put people around him to mess it up. This time, he knew the game and he put his own people around him. However, I think they have people around them to mess it up. Okay. Like you can't watch everybody. All right. You can't see what you can see everywhere. All right. And so your team has to be tight. Susie is too nice. All right. Susie, they came up to Susie and they said, Susie, we want to do it. Oh, like, okay. Sure. Susie got in there. They gave they gave Susie, I'm gonna tell you what they did. They went in there and they gave Susie probably a little bit of reposado, you know, or you know, tequila, on the rocks. They gave Susie a little bit of it, okay? And Susie, my dear, you know, she sipped a little bit, you know, had a shot, and Susie started talking. Susie started talking, okay? Now, here's my thing. I absolutely 100% believe that Miss Susie was taken out of context, but I do believe that Susie was talking, okay? I believe that Miss Susie was taken out of context. Yeah, she had a little sippy sip, okay? Susie looked like she like a little brown at the end of the day because she liked the brown, you know, because being in the White House, okay, having to deal with all of that. I don't care what president it is or what, you know, who you're helping, having to deal with all that. You took a drink at the end of the day, okay? Susie was up there like, what we talk about? You can't make this stuff up. You can't make it up, all right? But I absolutely think Susie was talking. That Crown and Coke. Y'all are wild. Well, speaking of Crown and Coke, The View always, okay, leads you to drinking, okay? And they talked about all of this, all right? Now, you know, the Golden Girls can smell blood, right? And just like the rest of the liberal media, but the Golden Girls couldn't wait to pounce on this. However, again, I do not believe that Susie just said things flat out. I believe that Susie said things in context and they took and put in there what they wanted to. Okay? I absolutely believe they took things out of context. But let's go ahead and hear what the women of Brewster's Place have to say. Here we go.
So just for some background on Susie Wiles, Trump's had 5 chiefs of staff over his first term, and now I knew 3 of them very well. She is by far considered the most respected, the most feared, and the most beloved. And we saw the wagons circle from all corners of Trump universe yesterday when this piece came out. Don Jr. put out like a 300-word defense of her, reminding people that after January 6th and other things, she stayed by his side when other people fled. She's known for being disciplined, and I actually believe that to be true for her. So I think she was intentional in this. I think it's very possible that chiefs of staff leave the White House, that she may be thinking of leaving next year. The midterms are not expected to go well for Republicans.
Which she also said that in the piece.
She did say that in the piece. She worked on the campaign. She's been there for a year. And I think she wanted to put on the record some things she disagreed with. She criticized the tariffs. She basically explained they shouldn't have gone the way they did. She criticized cutting USAID, which gutted American soft power, and the handling of the Epstein files.
I absolutely don't believe this woman is a Republican. Like, this woman is not a Republican, just like Anna, okay? Anna Navarro over there, she's not a Republican either. You cannot tell me that this woman is a Republican. She's absolutely not a Republican.
But the juiciest part, if I may, J.D. Vance versus Marco Rubio. So Susie Wiles is from Florida. She's close with Marco Rubio. He comes off looking as good as anyone could in this piece. She defends him. She says he's principled. He really supports Trump. she basically calls the vice president an opportunist, more or less, and basically says he's a conspiracy theorist. So I'm looking at 2028, and Susie Wiles, the most important Republican political operative in America, is squarely Team Rubio.
Well, that's quite an analysis.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time on this yesterday. This is my Roman Empire.
Well, I found it was a lot of confirmation. So it wasn't really like shocking anything in the article. It was shocking that they'd do the article. And I find that sometimes for the people that coined the phrase fake news and how awful mainstream media is, they still seem to crave the validation and credibility of places like a feature in Vanity Fair. So they can't get out of their own ways. But the three things that jumped out at me is we talked about at the show that the attacks on the Venezuelan ships was not about drugs. And she confirmed that.
No, she did not. Now y'all lying, okay? Karen, you doesn't she look like one of those women that live next door to you? That every time you come out your house, hey, you know, I saw that you guys didn't park in the right parking spot yesterday. Like, just wanted to tell you that. Oh, and the side of your house needs washing. You know, the HOA just comes by here a lot, so you might want to clean it up. One of those. That's what she is.
It was always about a regime change. The flip of JD Vance, which I found just a burn. There was she could have used more words. She just like, he's an opportunist. Next, like, which we also knew JD Vance was like that. He is no longer the man of hillbilly elegy. He came from an anti-Trump position and twisted day and night. And you're like, wait, what do you stand for? And she confirmed he doesn't stand for anything except conspiracy theories. And then the misjudgment on the Epstein files, which we all kept saying, these are really important. You ran on it. You even gave a binder out. And she was like, yeah, that was a miss. So I just found this was a lot of inside confirmation of what we all thought.
I was thinking from Trump's point of view, she didn't really do any damage to him when you think about it. First of all, she said he has an alcoholic personality and he doesn't drink. He just inspires others to drink. That's one thing. Then she says, yeah, he might be in the Epstein files, but there's nothing really salacious about it. He's just hanging out with that perv. Well, a lot of them were. As a matter of fact, she absolved Clinton. So Trump's thinking, hey, this is looking good for me. I don't think it bothers him in the least.
I don't think it bothers him in the least, but I agree with you, Alyssa. I think this was very much about preserving her legacy and preserving her position, because by all accounts, she is a serious person in a deeply unserious administration. And I think in preserving her legacy and preserving her positions in this way, she can have a future in politics. She can probably perhaps
Cloudy hosting. Always thinks she knows everything. I don't think so. Okay. I think Susie was taken wildly out of context. Okay. Because I read some of this. Okay. What was after she said he had an alcoholic personality? So what is the context of that? What does that mean? We don't know because it wasn't in there. It absolutely wasn't in there. So what does that mean? You see what I'm saying? Like, no, give me the transcripts or give me the recording. I want to hear the entire thing. Do I think Susie was talking? Absolutely. Do I think Susie just said one thing and blurted it out and was like, oh, let's go on to the next thing? What else you want to know? Okay. I don't think Susie had a fifth of Hennessy. I don't think she had that. I don't think she had that. Susie would have messed around and told you, they had the cure for certain things. Okay. I don't think she had the fifth of Hennessy. I don't think she went that far. Okay. I think she may have had the strawberry champagne. Okay. Too many mimosas, maybe, but absolutely not. Okay. I don't think Susie did that. But nevertheless, it led to this. This is a fashion magazine. Ain't no way. There's absolutely no way. Look, you guys, look at this. It's just, what is that? What is that for a fashion magazine? Okay. Y'all didn't cover up Marco Rubio's acne scars. Okay, that he has on the side of his face. Okay, everybody has gone through acne in their teen years. Don't act like you didn't. Okay. Look at it. This is wild. Okay. They could have made Susie eyes come down a little bit, where they could have made her do a little smize. Okay, we already talked about what they did to poor Miss press secretary here on the lips. Okay. The boys are back in town. That's what this looks like. I can't. Like, who told them to stand together like that? I'm sure they did on set. Okay. It looks crazy. And then JD, I'm just here so I don't get fined. Okay. Now, the only one I believe is my man right here. Okay. He was an Italian gangster in his other life. Okay. When he time travels, when he time jumps with the rest of the elite, when he does that, that's who he is. Okay. He's Don Corleone. He's not Stephen Miller. He don't play any games. I'm telling you, he plays no games with the illegals or anybody. Yeah. He's a looper. He jumps. Exactly. You know what I'm talking about. So here's the thing. This is definitely a hit piece, okay? And they knew exactly what they were doing with Miss Susie Wiles, okay? Miss Susie Wiles, again, as you even heard the birds over there on The View say, okay? If the cackling hens are telling you, all right, that Miss Susie Wiles is respected, she's respected. All right. And so they knew what they were doing by going to one of the most respected people on that administration and making her look like a fool. They knew that. Okay. And I put out a challenge for whoever grandmother Susie Wiles is. Okay. Because if that was my grandma, me and somebody at Vanity Fair would have to fight. Because my grandmother is respected. That woman has worked to get to her position, okay? She's worked very hard. I don't see her trying to be in the spotlight. I don't see her trying to steal anybody's shine. She doesn't take credit for anything that she probably did or didn't do. Like, I don't see it. And for them to do this to Susie is absolutely insane. Okay? I may be from fancy Northwest DC, okay? But I'm telling you right now, if somebody had did my grandmother like that, it would have been on, because it's absolutely wow. Because you know, it's all because they don't like the politics of Donald Trump. They don't like the politics of everything that goes on. So they talked to that woman about politics. I'm sure they did. They talked to her about politics. That's what they did. They talked to her about politics, and she just talked about what she liked and what she didn't like, what was safe and what was not safe, you know, what was good, what was bad. We can make assessments of people that we love and respect and say what I think is good, what I think is bad, what I think this, that, and the third. And they took that and they preyed on that. And I absolutely don't respect it. It is not good journalism, like, you know, Scream Mass, you know, Miss Jennifer Welch says. Okay. It's not good journalism. It's bad faith, and it's tacky, and it's classless. Absolutely. Okay. Those are my thoughts on that. Okay. So you guys get down in the comments and let me know what you think about that, because I think it's atrocious to do people like that. Okay. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. But that's where we're at in politics. Okay. And that was the Vanity Fair piece. A hit piece, if you will. Get down in the comments and let me know. Let's pour it up. All right, let me go ahead and read the super sticker. Miss Smell the Roses. Hey, love. With the $4.99 super sticker. I appreciate you. Thank you. And that picture looks so pretty. Oh, it's all nice and flowy. Okay. Thank you. All right, you guys. Let's go ahead and get into this last topic here. Okay. So we can roll out on this good Wednesday. Thank you guys for pulling up. All right, so the last topic here is Trump, okay? Trump and Rob Reiner, okay? Because this has been something that the media just won't let go of. And now with his son being, you know, currently, possibly, more than likely on death row, okay? He's slated right down the line for that, okay? Yeah. With that being on the horizon, all of this is in the news. So I want to go ahead and get into the breaking news, all right? And then we will go from there. But Trump doubled down and said he wasn't a fan, okay? And he said what he said. And then also, Nick Reiner makes his appearance in court. So I want to go ahead and touch on all of those topics and talk about it. Here we go.
He is in the courtroom and could enter a plea for the alleged murder of his parents. He has been charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder with a special circumstance. Some of the most serious charges the district attorney says prosecutors can bring. That means if convicted, Nick Reiner could face life in prison without the possibility of parole or even the death penalty. MS Now's David Noriega is on the ground outside the courthouse for us in Los Angeles. Also here, Jeffrey Tsai, former federal prosecutor who comes to us from California. David, what's the latest we're learning about what's happening there?
Well, Chris, as you said, proceedings in this case are now officially underway before Judge Teresa McGonigal. Alan Jackson, who's a very high-profile defense attorney here in LA, represented Harvey Weinstein, represented Kevin Spacey, has represented other very high-profile celebrity clients, is in the courtroom representing Nick Reiner. Nick Reiner, we are told, is also present in the courtroom. However, it doesn't seem like we're going to be able to see him. There is there are cameras in the courtroom, at least one camera in the courtroom, but the judge has instructed that they will not be able to show any images of the defendant. As to the charges, Chris, Reiner is facing 2 felony counts of murder, in reference, of course, to his parents, Rob and Michelle Reiner. Prosecutors are bringing those charges with what's called special circumstances related to his use of a deadly weapon, in this case a knife, and related to the fact that there are multiple victims in the alleged crime. That means that prosecutors can bring or can seek the highest possible penalty, either life without the possibility of parole or the death penalty. Although it's worth noting, Chris, that the death penalty doesn't really happen here in California, although it still exists as a law on paper. There's a moratorium on actual executions from the governor, and it's exceedingly rare for district attorneys to actually seek the death penalty, especially here in LA. Now, what we can expect today is fairly procedural. The charges will be presented against Nick Reiner. Nick Reiner will have the opportunity to plea either guilty or not guilty, and then we'll have to wait some time for the evidentiary process to actually begin and the trial itself to actually begin before we can actually start getting any kind of concrete information, some of the answers to the questions we've been looking for, such as the exact sequence of events that led to this crime, the evidence that prosecutors have against Nick Reiner, the kind of mental state that he was in at the time of the alleged crime. It will be some time before we actually start getting those details, because for now, Chris, prosecutors are being, and police are being, very tight-lipped. The criminal complaint against Nick Reiner is very sparse. It just lists the counts, and that's about it. But again, this is the first time we're actually seeing him and knowing physically where he is since he was detained over the weekend, Chris.
All right, thank you so much for that. Jeffrey, we're just getting some new information.
Thank you,
This only took a matter of minutes. It is over now. The 2 big points that came away from it, as I'm looking at the reporting from our folks who are inside that courtroom, is that there will be no bail and that the arraignment is continued to January 7th. Why would an arraignment be continued? Is that typical?
It can be typical, especially in a case where you have something of this kind of publicity, this kind of significance for the public. Oftentimes in these kinds of scenarios, the judge wants to have an opportunity to assess other circumstances that might be at play. It very well could be the case that defense counsel will want to make a motion to the court, perhaps to reconsider the issue of bail. But the driving consideration that the court will have in any case, including this one, will be whether or not the defendant poses a risk to society, to himself, in the event he were to be released on bail.
So, you know, obviously the way criminal courts work in California. I don't know if you're familiar with this judge, Teresa McGonigal, but would she have been appointed just for this randomly? How are cases handled in California?
Very
Shady.
just like with federal courts, these cases are put on a wheel, and so there's a random assignment process, and that's actually a good thing because it gives a fairness element to the kind of draw that one will get. That allows for, I think, for both defendants and for the district attorney's office in this case to be able to get as fair a shake as possible in the case.
Here's the thing, okay? I think he's going to. Here are my thoughts, okay? Here's my little opinion, conspiracy, if you will. I think he is going to plead not guilty due to insanity, okay? I think he's going to plead not guilty due to insanity due to the fact that he was traumatized and touched as a kid. Watch what I tell you. I could be wrong. I don't know anything about this family. Okay. But it gives a lot of that. It gives a lot of, I was ignored as a kid. I'm insane. You know, I was put on all of these different types of drugs. I was out of my mind. My father did this and that to me. You know, and I'm going to show you some stuff that led me down that, but that is my initial belief. Now, it could change when I see other things, but just from what I can see, that's what I'm getting. Okay. That's what I'm getting. I'm getting Menendez vibe, if you will. Okay. Just my theory. We shall see if it's right or wrong, but that is my theory. Okay. So with that being said, that was the news of the day on Nick. Okay. So Nick has been officially, well, all the information about Nick officially came out today. He was in the courtroom. If you see on the thumbnail, the reason why I have that cartoon picture is because that's the only thing that they are allowing out of the courtroom. They're not allowing video like of him directly because they say they don't want the media to do things with it. I'm like, he's a person. Anywho, they don't want to videotape him, but they did videotape inside the court. And they showed the courtroom today. And they also didn't want to put him out there. So they did, the sketches and everything. I just thought it was wild. All right. Like, he just murdered 2 people. Why does he need all of this protection? Absolutely insane. So that is the update on that. Now, I want to go ahead and get into this because the left-wing media is losing their mind. Okay. I did a video on it yesterday, but I wanted to talk about it because I am so sick of hearing about it. The left-wing media is absolutely hypocritical. Again, I will tell you what I think after this video.
Your statement on Truth Social after the murder of Rob Reiner. Do you stand by that post?
Well, I wasn't a fan of his at all. He was a deranged person as far as Trump was concerned. He said he knew it was false. In fact, it's the exact opposite, that I was a friend of Russia, controlled by Russia. It was the Russia hoax. He was one of the people behind it. I think he hurt himself in career-wise. He became like a deranged person, Trump derangement syndrome. So I was not a fan of Rob Reiner at all in any way, shape, or form. I thought he was very bad for our country. Yeah.
Blue slips, Mr. President. Leader Thune doesn't seem like a number.
No, Trump is 80, as my grandma would say. I'm 80 years old. My grandmother passed. She was 89. She was like, I'm over 80 years old. I'm going to tell you what I feel. I'm going to tell you what I want to tell you and what I'm thinking. And that's exactly what Trump just did. Okay. Donald Trump is expressing how he felt about a person that constantly talked about him, constantly said things about him and his personal life, said nasty things that he isn't, said that he was an artist, a sexist, all types of things. Okay. Now, of course, he is a political figure, and people do have absolutely every right to talk about a politician. However, it went past the politics. It went past Donald Trump's policies. Okay. It started to get very, very personal. All right. And then, you know, everybody likes to do the whole palling around with Putin and Russia, you know, Marsha, same difference. So with that being said, no, he wasn't a fan of him. Okay. And I found it so ironic that the media had such, you know, just was going wild about it, when every time they would talk about, you know, Charlie Kirk, they made a justification for it. We even heard, you know, oh girl, you know, Jennifer Welch, the witch, we heard her make a justification for certain things. Okay. That's what they do. That's what they did. All right. And so with that being said, I'm like, okay, you guys have definitely not cared. Okay. You didn't care when Trump got shot. Joy Reid is still saying that he didn't really get shot. Right. Like, they don't care. So yeah, they can miss me. They can absolutely miss me. Now, I want to get into this because a lot of people don't know what Rob Reiner said. So I always, you know, if I have them, I like to bring receipts. So here we are with receipts. Rob Reiner. Here we go.
We have a racist in the White House. We have a sexist in the White House, and he is tearing away at the fabric of our democracy.
The single most unqualified human being to ever assume the presidency of the United States. He's mentally unfit.
People always say, you know, he could redo All in the Family. I said, what do you mean? We're living it. We've got Archie in the White House. He always, when he quotes something that isn't him, and they're talking about Donald Trump, he goes, well, Donald Trump, every character is exactly the same. Well, Donald Trump, every time. And he always does that walk where he does like this, you know? Always.
The problem he has, as far as I can see, is that he's a pathological liar. People have to understand our democracy is being taken away from us. Make no mistake, we have a year before this country becomes a full-on autocracy. This is not a political party anymore. I don't know what this is. I believe there's a Christian nationalist movement that's very frightening. Do we want to continue democracy, or do we want to slip into fascism?
I'm not gonna lie. I would have been like, nah. Next question. I'm not gonna lie. That's what I would have did. I would have said, question. Because at the end of the day, I can understand why you would not like this man, why somebody would be annoyed. I understand. And it's not, you know, it's not far-fetched, you know, to not like somebody in life and not like somebody in death. Now, on the flip side, I would not, as a politician, especially the president, okay, because especially one that's so polarizing, I would not have done it because I know what the media is going to do with it. So again, I would have said, no comment. Just nothing. Absolutely nothing. What is there to say? What is there to say? Nothing. Okay? Absolutely nothing. So I wouldn't have done it myself, but Trump is 80. What you going to tell him? What you going to tell him? They're like, oh, it's distasteful. The media has been look, the gloves have been off for a long time. Okay. I don't want to hear about this decorum and all of that. I personally would not have said it. Absolutely not. Because I don't want the backlash on my people, people who rock with me. I don't want people to come and say, oh, all the people that watch the Red Cup think like that. And maybe they do. However, I just personally would just keep it close to the chest. Okay. I don't like him. I don't like him. I don't have to. Right. And I don't think Trump owes anybody anything. So there's that. But I wouldn't have said it. Now, with that being said, I want to get into really quick a little bit of the conspiracy lane, if you will. Let's get our Candace Owens on. Let's get our 10 hats.
So I'm sure by now you've heard about Rob Reiner's death and how his son is involved. You saw Trump's post, and again, every time he posts, you want to look at what is written in caps, okay? And people are outraged at this. Trump, shut your effing mouth. You're such a schmuck. What are you doing? So I'm thinking, is he just evil and mean? Or could there be something else behind it? So that's where I come in. So Rob co-founded a production company called Castle Rock. And as you can see on his son's jacket, representing Castle Rock. Now, this is why Trump called him out on the TDS. Okay, stay with me. When you Google Castle Rock production Biden, look what comes up. It's the literal production stage of the faux administration. Like this.
Oh, yeah, Biden was at that every day. I remember
and that. This. And this. Oh, wait. And then there's this. Just the casual 3-3, you know, probably nothing. Is Trump just an arrogant schmuck who needs to shut his mouth? Or is Trump giving us hints for us to see through the veil, to see through the smoke and mirrors, for us to use discernment, to dig a little bit, to use our common sense and realize, even though Rob's death is tragic, was Rob connected to TDS because he knowingly set the foundation to the fake Biden administration with all those production sets? Therefore, he was in on deceiving the country, the world, breaking our Constitution. You following me? I don't know, but you know, it's probably nothing. Nothing can.
Girl, I followed you the entire time. Okay. I followed you the entire time. All I'm going to say is nothing ceased to amaze me. Okay. Nothing ceased to amaze me. And I do remember those sets. Okay. And now I live in DC. I can tell you when Biden was in office, none of the lights were ever on. Like absolutely, they were never on. I swear to goodness. Like nobody was ever there. Like there is a camera. You can go and look at the White House 24/7. Go back just a year and see who you see. Watch you don't see anybody. Watch you don't see anything. Watch you see most of the lights off. Watch. Okay. But then Biden just shows up somewhere. Like you can't tell me that they did not prop that man up, that they were just doing the most with him. Okay. That man is like Weekend at Bernie's. You cannot tell me this. However, I think she's on to something. Okay. We'll follow it. But I want to move into this because this is what I had already had the thought, but then when I heard someone as, you know, astute as Megyn Kelly, I said, I'm probably, you know, onto something with my thoughts of the Nick Reiner being on the Menendez side of things with his pleas. Here we go.
Here's what I think. And this is a like out of left field prediction. And it's just because the Menendez case is on my mind, because that's also California. And this is what triggered it. In no way am I impugning Rob Reiner, nor do I believe there's anything
Yes,
untoward.
ma'am. Go ahead.
He seems by all accounts a loving father and
Go ahead.
appropriate father.
Go ahead.
But on this same Daily Mail report we were quoting from, one actor who was on the set of Being Charlie, he's a cast member, Eric Aud, 45, told the Daily Mail he found the dynamic between Rob and his son, Nick, troubling. They were fighting. They were arguing with each other while they were on the set. They did point out that this guy's scenes were ultimately cut from the film. Okay, maybe he's got to grind an axe to
Come on,
grind.
Megan. Come
Quote,
on.
they were
Come on.
kissing each other on the lips, which was weird. They bickered, or they were bickering. They were going off on each other on set. It wasn't comfortable. There was definitely hostility there. So my question is there a likelihood Nick Reiner pulls a card from the Menendez defense? We're in California. It's going to be a California jury, and says he was molesting me my whole life. That's why I was so messed up from the time I was 10. That's why I got hooked on drugs. There's no way of disproving that, and plays the sympathy card with a California jury about why, from a very young age, he was all messed up.
I had that thought in my mind, and I was just, getting my stuff together, and this showed up. I said, the universe, you gotta love it. Okay. You gotta love it, because that was my thought. And when I saw it, I said, that's wild. It's absolutely wild. It's absolutely insane. It's absolutely insane. Okay. That's my thought. All right. And so with that being said, I stumbled upon this. Okay. The Daily Mail. And it says here, they were kissing each other on the lips on set, which is weird. They were bickering and going off on each other on set. It wasn't comfortable. There was definitely hostility there. Rob and his son did not shy away from showing each other dirty laundry in front of cast and crew members. He detailed the alleged incident where Nick was sitting on a couch and Reiner was standing over the couch, and they were bickering back and forth. And I'm going to tell you why I absolutely believe it, because I made a video yesterday on the whole situation, and I put I looked at a couple of videos of just, Rob and his son, just from the live I did on Monday, and you can see the tension. You can see, the back and forth that, and they even said it. And so, yes, I believe that part. Okay. I absolutely believe that part. And because Nick has said it in front of Rob multiple times. Like, oh, he doesn't know how to express himself. He's like this on set and like that and blah, blah, blah. Like, I absolutely see that as part of a defense. Okay. And this young man has been on drugs since like 14, 15. Okay. And they're talking about things that went on when he was like 11. It's absolutely wow. It's insane. But not only that, there's just so many other allegations that, people said they saw or that they witnessed. And we all know, in Hollywood, it's not far-fetched. Okay. His lawyer or attorney is the lawyer for Harvey Weinstein. Okay. And it's absolutely insane to me, how all of this is connected, and last but not least, the flight logs for Epstein have been out forever. Well, just like Harvey Weinstein is on the flight logs, Bill Clinton, all these people, yada, yada, yada. One of the other people that nobody talks about that was on the flight logs was Rob Reiner. Rob Reiner was on the flight logs for Jeffrey Epstein. Go figure. I mean, he's in Hollywood. So you add that, okay? You add the actual stories here that people have told to the news, and you add the fact that he's TDS, he doesn't like Donald Trump, like all of these things, and you add the fact that he's a lifetime liberal with extreme liberalist views. You add all that together, you get the child grew up in this ultra liberal home, and of course forced in the spotlight. I was forced to do this, I feel like this, it was just this, that and the third. I'm telling you, that's where that is going. All right. Whether it's going to the exposed or whether it's going to the, I'm making it up. There's enough there to do exactly that. And it's absolutely wild. It's wild to think when people pass, what comes out. Okay. It's wild. But I'm telling you, that's where it's going. That's where it's going. And I'm telling you, Hollywood never ceased to amaze me. Okay. Okay. And so Donald Trump is like, you don't want to smoke with me. You don't want to smoke because I could just tell you. Okay. I can just tell you where it's going. And so that's why people started looking into Donald Trump's post, because why would he go out his way to do that outside of the fact that, my man had said all of those things about him? He started putting in encrypted stuff. So I absolutely think that is the way it's going to go. All right. And it just is what it is. So, I don't know what to make of it outside of that, but that is my thought process on that. Okay. That is the reason why Donald Trump had something to say. That is the reason why, people are now, coming out saying, hey, I said this, years ago. Go look up the newspapers, go look up the reporters that I said it to. It's just a lot that's going to come out. And on top of, what we already see in multiple videos with this, with the son, and with what is being said, and of course, like I said, with the connection to Jeffrey Epstein, I don't doubt if he goes the Menendez route to avoid, being put to death. All right. Or even avoid jail time. Okay. By insanity. All right. Because I absolutely see it. And there's so many Hollywood children that you can pull from that have told the story over and over again. Okay. And that are not here to tell the story because they told the story. So, you can always, there's a lie, there's the truth. Well, there's a lie, there's somebody's truth, and then the truth is somewhere in the middle. And I think when you look at conspiracies and when you look at lies, you can kind of find some middle ground there. So I absolutely think something is there, could be, and I think whatever is there, that gentleman is definitely going to use it. Absolutely. It's a tragic situation. I don't think anybody should be unalived by their own children. I feel for the other children because regardless, those are their parents, but, a lot of things people never pay attention to, a lot of the things that they sow, a lot of the, nonsense and things that they spew, the venom that they spew comes back. And I think if people actually look at what, and you can, you can feel how you feel about it, you guys, but I think when he said TDS, I don't think he was just doing that to be funny. I think what he was trying to say is what ends up, what you spew ends up being part of your demise. Okay. And a lot of the times, you got these people online wishing, saying that it was great that Charlie Kirk was unalive like that, and then you look up people a couple of months later and they're not here. You gotta watch what you put into the universe. You gotta watch what you say. The power of the tongue is very powerful. Okay, these cameras, all of that. This is casting. That's why it's called a podcast, right? And so when you do things like that, when you're, on frequency, on air, all right, that's what that means. All right. I spent years in the entertainment industry. When you do that, you are definitely sending a signal. Okay. Whether intentional or unintentional, to the universe, to other people, to other souls, to other entities. And you got to watch what you're saying. You just do. I don't care if you believe in something spiritual or not. They believe in you. So at the end of the day, you have to be mindful of your intentions, because what you say can eventually come back and be your own demise. So those are my thoughts. But I could be wrong. So you guys get down in the comments and let me know what you think about everything involving Donald Trump and the, REINER'S and their unfortunately demise by their son. The unfortunate demise by their son. And, that it's horrific, but, you got to pay attention to the kids because I'm sure he's been brewing for a while. All right. He's been brewing for a while, but we'll follow that story and we will follow everything else here. Let me know what you think about the Vanity Fair hit piece. Okay. Susie Wiles, poor Susie. Let me know what you think about that and those awful godly pictures. Like I just want to retouch one of them. I want to sit here on Canva and something Photoshop and retouch one of those pictures. Let me know what you think about Jennifer Welch and Don Limon. Okay. The sassy one and the one that looks like she's DOA already. And let me know what you think about Sassy Dio HUGHLEY coming for Nicki Minaj. All right. Let me know what you think about that. And last but not least, let me know what you think about the whole Candace Owens and Erika Kirk situation. Let me know what you think about that, you guys. I appreciate you being here. Let me go ahead and get into this super chat and then you guys, we're going to roll call and get you up out of here. It's late. All right, you guys. Thank you so much. $2 super chat from agency headquarters. 3 days in a row. You on fire. Keep putting in work, and you know it. I might. Don't count me on it. But I'm trying to work my way up to 5 days. Okay, we're gonna see how that works. But for the New Year's, I'm definitely going to be doing a lot of different things. So I'm going to have this channel working. I'm going to have my other channel, Pop Culture Mika. I'm going to have that channel working. We're going to be talking about, other things on there as well. Like I'm just going to do it all. Like we're going big for 2026. Okay. For the 99 and 2000, but in 2026. Thank you so much, agency headquarters. I appreciate it. Yeah. I used to always love to say that. For the 99 and 2000. My mom used to be like, girl, you're so little. You don't know what you're talking about. All right. Courtney Smith, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. I appreciate you guys. I really do. The more that the media, mostly liberals, replay Donald Trump's comments about Rob, the more I understand his statement probably wasn't appropriate. Could have been way worse from what he really wanted to say. Absolutely. Oh, I think Donald Trump held back. Okay. When he says, I wasn't a fan. Look, I was raised in a White House, so I know what white men mean when they start to sigh. Wasn't a fan. It means he has more going on in there. Okay. All right. I'm telling you right now. That's what that means. That's absolutely what that means. But he held back. Okay. But Trump is going to be Trump. He's going to say, he's going to say what he said, and he's standing on it. I can respect that. I wouldn't have said it, but I'm not Donald Trump. So it is what it is. But, you can criticize him. Most people on the conservative side did. They didn't like it. But I will say this. We are able to, on this side, criticize Donald Trump when we don't like something and still walk with him because 80% of what he's doing is good for the country, even the raggedy liberals. Y'all not raggedy. Well, Jennifer Welch is and Don Limon and Joyless Reed. But what I'm trying to say is it's for the betterment of everybody. I don't care if you're liberal or conservative. I want you to live a good life in this country. So if I have to vote the right way for you to get it, it is what it is. All right. But yes, absolutely. Donald Trump could have said worse. So thank you, Courtney Smith. I appreciate your support. I really do. Okay. Really do. Thank you guys for pulling up. Thank you to everybody in the chat. Loso Way, thank you. Thank you to Genius. Thank you, Artifacts. I appreciate you. Thank you to Michael Armstrong. Thank you, Loud and Clear. Thank you, Got Flavor. Thank you. You and Melanie. Like that, I'm just gonna start chopping that up. I'm gonna start chopping that up because I mess that name up every time. And thank you so much for pulling up. And Ellis, thank you so much for pull up. I appreciate it. Who else? Lord, I mess these names up all the time. Can't get right. I think I said got flavor, but if I didn't, thank you. Thank you, agency headquarters, for pulling up. Chavis, I appreciate you. Who else we got in the building? Your car. Thank you as always. Gaudy B. Okay. Gaudy B. Thank you. Thank you so much to Courtney Smith, and thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you. Thank you to Mark Grindswald. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Let me see, loud and clear. Thank you to Smell the Roses. I appreciate your love. Thank you to who else we got in here? Hold on. The Legend of Nick. Thank you. Thank you to DB2P6N. DB Child. Thank you. Who else we have in the building? Thank you to Dave. Okay, thank you, Dave. Thank you to Mark. Thank you to who else we have in the building? Echo Jedi. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you. Who else we have? You know, I try to get as many of you as I can every time. A Pnoid 3132. Thank you. Okay. Thank you so much. I got a lot of you guys. Smell the Roses. I said Smell the Roses. Thank you to the Terrible People podcast. Thank you to the Bag Chasers. Thank you, Dion. Thank you to Eric Harris. I appreciate you. Thank you, all you guys. Yeah, we end up having a lot of people in here, so I do appreciate you guys. I really do. Thank you to Kay, Miss Kay. I saw you in here. Thank you, everybody. Chris, Trix Chambers, Dre Harden. Yeah, I saw you guys. Okay, I saw y'all pull up. Thank you, Ray in Need 100. The Ski Report. I see you guys. You pulled up. Thank you, Dre Harden. Thank you to Lyric the Gamer. I appreciate you. Thank you, B Hunter. Thank you to all of you guys. All right. Who else? I said Eric Harris. Magnetar. Thank you, Magnetar. Thank you to Shadow Dragon TV, Mandy. Okay. Outlaw. I see you, Alicia. Who else? Shay Ladow Jones. Thank you. You guys, thank you all. I see a lot of people. Julia. Okay. Thank you, Julia. All right, you guys. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. As always, it's your girl, Mika. And I'm out. Peace. Bye.